Welcome to this exciting journey into how our Earth works. Today, we'll explore a fascinating topic: differential heating of Earth's surface, land versus water. Have you ever wondered why beach sand gets scorching hot, but ocean water stays cool? We'll uncover the science behind this, starting with easy concepts and gradually diving into more complex ideas. Get ready to understand how this simple difference shapes our planet's weather and climate. Let's begin our exploration with the basics. What exactly is differential heating, and why does it matter? Imagine the Earth's surface. When the sun shines, not all parts warm up at the same speed. This is what we call differential heating. Simply put, it's the difference in how various parts of Earth, mainly land and water, absorb and release the sun's energy. This fundamental concept is crucial because it drives many of the weather phenomena we experience daily. Generally, land surfaces tend to heat up and cool down much faster than large bodies of water. This creates significant temperature contrasts across our planet. So, why does this difference exist? There are a few key reasons. First, water has a higher, specific heat capacity, meaning it needs more energy to raise its temperature compared to land. Think of it as water being a slow cooker for heat. Second, sunlight can penetrate deeper into water, spreading the heat over a larger volume, while land absorbs heat mostly on its surface. Third, water is constantly moving, like ocean currents, which helps distribute heat. Finally, evaporation from water bodies also causes cooling. A great example is a beach. Sand gets burning hot during the day, but the sea water remains much cooler. At night, the sand quickly cools, while the water stays relatively warm. Now, let's check your understanding with a few quick questions. Take a moment to think about these. Question 1. How would you define differential heating in simple terms? Question 2. Between land and water, which one typically heats up more quickly when exposed to sunlight? And question 3. Can you name at least 2 reasons why water heats up slower than land surfaces? Pause the video if you need more time to answer these. Ready to dive a bit deeper? Let's explore the science behind these differences and their immediate effects. The most critical factor is specific heat capacity. This is the amount of heat energy required to raise the temperature of a substance. Water has an incredibly high specific heat capacity, about 4 to 5 times higher than most land materials like sand or rock. This means water can absorb a tremendous amount of heat energy without its temperature rising sharply. Land, with its lower specific heat, warms up much faster with the same amount of solar energy. This property gives water high thermal inertia, acting like a giant heat buffer, storing vast amounts of heat and moderating temperature changes on Earth. Beyond specific heat, other factors play significant roles. Water's transparency allows sunlight to penetrate several meters deep, distributing heat throughout a larger volume, unlike land where heat is concentrated at the surface. Also, water is constantly moving due to currents and waves, which effectively mixes and distributes heat, preventing extreme localized temperatures. Land, being stationary, transfers heat mainly through slower conduction. Furthermore, evaporation from water bodies is a powerful cooling mechanism. As water evaporates, it absorbs latent heat from the surface, reducing its temperature, an effect largely absent over dry land. These heating differences have direct impacts on local weather. During the day, land heats up faster than the sea. The warm air above the land becomes less dense and rises, creating a low-pressure area. Cooler, denser air from over the sea then rushes inland to fill this void, creating what we know as a sea breeze. At night, the reverse happens. Land cools faster than the sea. The sea remains warmer, causing air above it to rise, creating low pressure over the sea. Cooler air from the land then moves towards the sea, forming a land breeze. These local wind patterns are perfect examples of how differential heating shapes our daily weather. Time for some medium-level questions to solidify your understanding. Question 1. Explain specific heat capacity and its role in land-water heating differences. Question 2. Besides specific heat, describe 2 other physical properties that make water heat slower. Question 3. How does a sea breeze form, highlighting the role of differential heating? Question 4. Why does water possess high thermal inertia? And question 5. Briefly explain how differential heating impacts global climate patterns. Take your time to formulate comprehensive answers. Now, let's explore the deeper scientific principles and connections that underpin differential heating. When we consider heat transfer, both land and water absorb solar radiation. However, water's transparency allows radiation to penetrate deeper, spreading the heat vertically, while land absorbs it mostly at the surface. In terms of conduction, heat moves slowly through land materials. But in water, convection, the movement of fluid is the dominant mode of heat transfer. Ocean currents constantly mix and distribute heat throughout immense volumes. Crucially, water's specific heat capacity is indeed 4 to 5 times greater than that of most land materials, meaning oceans can store vast quantities of thermal energy with relatively small temperature changes, acting as massive heat buffers for our planet. The difference in heating also relates to density and volume. As water heats, it slightly expands and becomes less dense, leading to thermal stratification, but also driving convective mixing. Land materials don't exhibit such dynamic density changes that would cause internal mixing. The sheer volume of the oceans, covering over 70% of Earth's surface with an average depth of nearly 4 kilometers, allows them to store an unimaginable amount of heat. This vast heat storage capacity means water bodies exhibit a significant thermal lag, holding onto heat much longer than land, which cools down rapidly once the sun sets. Differential heating directly creates pressure systems, which are fundamental drivers of weather. Warmer air is less dense and rises, creating low atmospheric pressure, while cooler, denser air sinks, creating high atmospheric pressure. This principle explains local sea and land breezes. On a global scale, it drives monsoons. Large continental landmasses heat intensely in summer, forming vast low-pressure systems that draw in moist air from oceans, causing heavy rainfall. In winter, land cools rapidly, creating high-pressure systems that push dry air outwards. This continuous interplay of temperature and pressure gradients fundamentally drives global atmospheric circulation and ocean currents. Let's test your advanced understanding with these challenging questions. Question 1. Compare the primary modes of heat transfer in land versus water and their respective contributions to differential heating. Question 2. Elaborate on water's specific heat capacity and its impact on thermal energy storage. Question 3. Explain the link between temperature, air density, pressure, and the creation of local pressure gradients. Question 4. Describe monsoon formation, connecting it to large-scale differential heating. Question 5. How does the ocean's vast volume contribute to its role as a global heat reservoir? Question 6. Discuss how differential heating leads to distinct maritime and continental climates. And question 7. Explain how differential heating drives global atmospheric circulation patterns. Take your time to think critically. Ready to tackle the deepest insights into differential heating? Let's explore its competitive depth and engineering implications. At its core, differential heating is about Earth's energy balance. Quantitatively, water's specific heat of around 4,186 jkg degree C dwarfs that of typical soil or rock, which ranges from 800 to 2,000 jkg degree C. This means oceans store orders of magnitude more thermal energy. Crucially, the latent heat of vaporization plays a massive role for water. Evaporation from oceans absorbs a tremendous amount of heat, cooling the surface. This absorbed energy is then released when water vapor condenses elsewhere, transferring heat globally. Land, lacking significant moisture, does not participate in this large-scale latent heat exchange. The Bowen ratio, which compares sensible to latent heat flux, clearly shows this difference, with oceans favoring latent heat release. Differential heating is the engine for global atmospheric and oceanic circulation. The temperature contrast between the equator and poles drives the three-cell model of atmospheric circulation, Hadley, Ferrel, and polar cells, which dictate global wind patterns like trade winds and westerlies. Simultaneously, variations in ocean temperature and salinity drive the thermohaline circulation also known as the Great Ocean Conveyor Belt. Cold, dense, salty water sinks at the poles and slowly moves across ocean basins, distributing heat, nutrients, and gases globally over thousands of years. The Coriolis effect, caused by Earth's rotation, then deflects these massive air and water movements, creating their complex, characteristic paths. The ecological implications are profound. Differential heating drives phenomena like upwelling where cold, nutrient-rich water rises from the deep, fueling highly productive marine ecosystems. Conversely, downwelling transports oxygen to deeper waters. In freshwater lakes, differential heating leads to thermal stratification forming distinct layers, epilimnion, metalimnion, hypolimnion, that impact nutrient cycling and aquatic life. In the context of climate change, oceans have absorbed over 90% of the excess heat from global warming due to their immense volume and specific heat. This causes thermal expansion contributing significantly to sea level rise and alters ocean currents, impacting global climate stability and marine biodiversity. It also intensifies tropical cyclones and exacerbates ocean acidification. Beyond natural systems, understanding differential heating has practical applications. Urban heat islands, UHIs, are a prime example. Cities, with their vast concrete and asphalt surfaces, absorb and retain far more heat than surrounding vegetated rural areas, leading to significantly higher temperatures. Mitigation strategies include green roofs, reflective pavements, and increased urban forestry. In geoengineering, proposals sometimes consider manipulating surface albedo or ocean mixing to combat climate change, directly applying these principles. Furthermore, remote sensing satellites equipped with thermal infrared sensors continuously map these surface temperature differences, providing critical data for weather forecasting, climate modeling, and oceanography, helping us better understand and predict our planet's future. Challenge your limits with these first 5 hardest questions. Question 1. Quantify specific heat difference and its impact on thermal energy storage. Question 2. Explain latent heat of vaporization's role in ocean temperature moderation and global heat transfer. Question 3. Detail how equator pole heating and the Coriolis effect drive the three-cell atmospheric circulation model. Question 4. Describe thermohaline circulation and its dependence on differential heating and salinity. Question 5. Discuss ecological impacts of differential heating on marine upwelling, downwelling, and thermal stratification. Pause and reflect deeply on these complex concepts. And now, the final 5 questions to truly test your mastery. Question 6. Analyze why oceans are the primary heat sink for anthropogenic warming and its consequences on sea level rise and ecosystems. Question 7. How does differential heating influence urban heat islands, and what engineering solutions exist? Question 8. Explain the Bowen ratio and its differing values over land and water. Question 9. How does albedo contribute to differential heating within land surfaces, including feedback loops? And question 10. Describe how satellite remote sensing uses differential heating principles for climate monitoring. These questions require comprehensive, interdisciplinary understanding. That was an incredible journey through the differential heating of Earth's surface. We started with simple observations and climbed all the way to advanced thermodynamic principles and global climate impacts. Understanding this topic is key to grasping how our planet's systems interact. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want to explore more fascinating biology, physics, and chemistry topics, visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting educational content. Keep learning, keep exploring, and see you next time.